Hello, my name is David Morales, and today I will show you what are the installation requirements in order to run Nuke locally. First, you will see that you will need Python 3.11 or higher. We're also using Flutter, again 3.9 or higher. We are using Git, and then we're using Visual Studio Code in order to run the code editor. Now, here are some of the optional but recommended if you want to do this on Android, iOS, etc. For the system requirements, we need a gigabyte, 16 recommended, and for storage, 10 gigabytes should do the work. And of course, you need internet connections for package downloads in the operating system. Well, Windows 10 Plus or Mac OS 10.14 Plus will work, and if you're trying to run this on Linux, Ubuntu, you will use 18.4 plus. Now, you can clone the repository, but in this case, it's private, so these files here on the backend are already prepared, so you don't need to clone it. If you want to run the environment, which is one of the first things you need to do, on Windows PowerShell, this is the following command, and on macOS, this is the command you'll use to run the environment. Once the environment is running, you need to install the requirements.txt, which is right here. This is a file that where all the dependencies of the project are, and it's very important in order for the app to run. Now, what we are installing in those requirements is Fast API, UV core, Supabase, Pedantic, cryptography, and Python multi-powerful files. This is if you want to configure environmental variables like your .env file where you'll have your Supabase URL, your anon key, and your private key. Now, this is the configuration that you need if you want to run this project on Supabase. All of these are on the .env files of the backend and front end. If you want to verify the installation, you'll run this, which will reload the backend on the environment. And if you want to check your API's documentation or endpoints, you will follow this URL. This is interactive, that it lets you know if you're getting errors of what is happening. From the front end setup, you're gonna load into the front end directory, which is right here, and you're gonna install the Flutter dependencies. In this case, HTTP for API with Flutter secure storage for encryption key storage, encrypt for the algorithm that you're using, which is a band encryption standard, 256-bit of symmetric key, and GCM for the authentication tag of each ciphertext. Now share preference because this is an app setting on Chrome, image picker to upload files, and Google Fonts for user interface typography. In order to configure your MPI endpoints, you are gonna update this depending on what API you're running on Supabase. This is just an example. To verify the installation of Flutter and the dependencies, you're gonna run Flutter Doctor, which will provide this following information as you can see here. In this case, we're not using Android, so unable to locate it, and it's Studio Code. It's saying that it is not installed, but this is the reason because it is in another file, another drive on my system. Now, if you want to run on Chrome, you're going to use this command, Windows, Android, iOS, etc. For the database configuration, it's actually here in the Nuke backend. These are all the scripts you can run on the database in order to duplicate this project. And the way to do this, you're gonna go to Supabase, you're gonna create an account, create a project, name it. In this case, it's Nuke FIU, generate a database password. You're gonna choose a region, and once you click create the project, in 1 to 2 minutes, you should have the Supabase project created. You're gonna retrieve your API credentials by going into Supabase right here on project settings. Once you click on it, you gonna once you click on it, sorry, you're gonna go down and you're gonna see options that are needed. You're also gonna see the API keys here, which is what we are talking to right now. Now, after that, you want to go to the SQL editor and run all these SQL commands that make the message columns, the file columns. Well, in this case, there are tables, the email verification, etc. You also want to create row level security. And the way that this is done is to verify that each row on each table It's authentic and there is nothing wrong with the data. You want to configure storage buckets. In this case, it's two. We got a public bucket for profile pictures, and we got a private bucket for file attachments in direct messages or group chats. The reason why we decided to make profile pictures public is because on the interface of the app, when you want to add somebody, maybe you can recognize them depending not only on their email but also on their profile picture. Now, uh, for environment configurations, meaning the .env file, this is the configure that you're gonna need for the database, your port URL, your onion key, and your service role key, the API that your Supabase in this case provided. For security, you're gonna run your secure random key. This is when the key is randomly generated on the code. And for the front end configuration, this is just an example of the constants on Dart. Once running the application, you will reload it if there is any problems. After activating the environment, you will open the browser if you want to see documentation, start the front end, and then you're going to test the applications. We also included steps here for troubleshooting if you are running into any errors. And from maintaining this, you probably don't need much. Just maintain your Supabase and everything should work. But yeah, for future improvement in this app, what we want to use, we want to include voice recording, video calls, and we want to basically make the app look more interactive for students and propose different features that the community suggests. And we then can adapt it into our app. So basically getting user feedback to make this configuration better. One thing that is not working right now is the recovery of an account where a private key is created every time you create an account, which can only be created with an FIU email. That's one of the requirements. You can save this private key in order to recover your account, and I will be demonstrating this in the next video. But the recovery endpoint is not really working, so that's one of the stuff we need to fix. But besides that, we think that Nook is a pretty complete team collaboration app, and its live is functional. And I hope you guys understand how to run the requirements. There is a document here on the directory for you guys to follow steps. And thank you.